Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Friday, everyone. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So I came in the shop today in a very single-minded manner, with my goal being to at least start and get running, not necessarily do the cam brake in, but to fire this bad boy up that you see here, which is... well, it's based on a 36 horse Volkswagen motor. So this is, for those of you that may be new-ish around here, this is the motor for this 54 barn door here. Beautiful dove blue right-hand drive combi coming all the way from Hawaii to us for us to work our magic on. And you can look back at some previous videos where I show this bus. We've been working on it for a while, but yeah, lots of little upgrades. Porsche 356B brakes, Porsche 356 16-inch wheels. We did pretty much full interior on it, etc., etc. Amazing bus, and an amazing bus like this deserves an amazing motor, and so that is what we're doing our best to build here. So let's talk about this motor here. There's a lot going on, and honestly, I had to write myself a cheat sheet because there's so much on this motor that I would probably forget half of it if I were to just like start rambling about it. So took the time to sit down and make a list so I can hopefully not forget anything, at least nothing major. Anyway, so again, it is based on a 36 horse case, and it's a really cool case because it is unstamped. And this is a case that I have had in my stash for, geez guys, probably decades, honestly, that I've had this case, and this seemed like a good project to use it on. So it's unstamped, meaning that it's basically like a factory replacement case, and the case is just in amazing condition. So we decided that this would be a good foundation to build this motor. So the car did have a 36 horse in it. It was a much later case. And so, yeah, we decided it would be actually better to have an unlabeled one versus one that with a much later serial number on it. Yeah, not really much else different, but anyway, that was kind of our thought process. And so when the owner contacted me originally, he was hoping we could put maybe some dual like a dual carburetor, like an Okrasa setup. However, here, let's walk back over to the bus for a minute. On a Barndoor bus, there's a little bit of a challenge with putting big dual carburetors in the bus, and that is that on barn doors, the gas tank is right there in the engine compartment. And it sticks down pretty much into where a dual carburetor would go. I mean, it would be like right here, but especially the Okrasa, they have pretty tall manifolds. I mean, they'd probably be up here. And so, yeah, we talked about it and we kind of kicked some ideas around, and he went ahead and sent the bus out. And we wanted to kind of look at different ideas, and I ended up talking to George Schmidt at the butcher shop. You guys can look him up, and he's an old speed guy, really loves the 36 horses and stuff like that. And as it turns out, he had this set of carburetors that you see here, and manifolds, etc., which are made by a company called Monaro Motors in Australia. And they use dual side draft SU carburetors, which are commonly found on European, particularly British cars. And you can see how they sit in here. So the carburetors sit very low because, again, they are side draft. So the manifold kind of comes toward the back of the car, and then the carburetor sits down there like that. So tons of space, even with that gas tank sitting down here, whereas a set of traditional dual carburetors would be, sitting more like here. They wouldn't fit. And people move the gas tanks and do all sorts of things like that. You could make like a cutout in the gas tank, and there's ways to do it. Obviously, people put big motors with dual carbs and so on in barn door buses, but we wanted to do something different, something cool, something fairly unique. You don't just see every day. And of course, being vintage classic specialist, we wanted to set the bar very high for this build. So anyway, I mentioned earlier that the bus, or I think I mentioned earlier, maybe I didn't. Anyway, the bus, the owner, who again lives in Hawaii, he bought the bus from Australia. So that is an Australian right-hand drive bus, and he really wanted a right-hand drive bus, and so he bought it from Australia. But anyway, so going back to this intake system, when I heard George mention that this was from an Australian company who made back in the day this performance dual exhaust setup, or excuse me, dual intake setup for these motors, I knew it was meant to be, because Australian bus, fairly rare Australian intake system. These are not much less rare, I suppose, in Australia. And there's some of them, of course, have made it over here. You'll see them maybe occasionally, although not very often at all. But anyway, so those were kind of the foundation for the motor. And the motor itself is sort of punched out, if you will, to basically a 1500. So it's got 80 millimeter pistons that are from Brothers Machine Shop, and a 74 millimeter counterweighted crank, which makes it a 1488. So pretty big compared to an 1192, which is of course what 36s were to start with. The cool thing is that Brothers Machine Shop makes essentially like a stroker piston for these motors, where the wrist pin is moved. And despite the relatively huge stroke in this motor and everything else, it is 100% stock width. And that's running, it's running H-beam rods, so very, heavy duty H-beam rods. Again, the 74 millimeter counterweighted crank, forged pistons. The cylinders are AA cylinders, 80 millimeters again. So pretty beefy foundation. We went ahead and set the compression at about 8-to-1 on it, which is much higher than I think a stock 36 horse. I don't even think it's 7-to-1. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's more like 6 something to 1. Really puny compression ratio. So we bumped it up to about 8, and then had our friend Clyde Berg of the famous Berg family took the cylinder heads and kind of took them to the next level. So we put big valves in there. We basically put Okrasa valves in, which are bigger than stock 36 horse. So again, they're still single port heads. These are still VW, 36 horse heads. But yeah, bigger valves, like out of a set of Okrasa heads. And then he did a little bit of port work, and then again, trimmed the chambers down to give us the volume that we needed to get that 8-to-1 compression. Let's see what else here. Just a bunch of other accessories on it. So this Fram oil filter is one that Rafa had in his stock, kind of been saving it for a special build. It is genuine new old stock. This is the real deal, not a reproduction here. And Rafa went and plumbed it all in with hard lines. So super clean installation there. And what else? We did full flow the case, so you can see coming off here, going to like a regular adapter here. I wanted it to kind of look old school. It's sort of hard with AN fittings and stuff like that, but I opted to go with the sort of silver or natural colored AN fittings, and then black lines that had some blue woven into them. The bus is blue, so I don't know. I thought that would be at least not, I don't know. I think black AN fittings would have kind of looked out of place. I thought at least the silver ones look more like they could be period correct. I don't know. Anyway, so that's on there. The muffler is one of the Abarth mufflers that Wolfsburg West sells for 36 horse. However, again, we like to do things a little differently sometimes, so we took it down to Tiger at A1 and had them go ahead and chop off the 4 tips. So normally they have 2 and 2. Cut those off and then put a 3-inch stainless outlet on it here with an ovalized tip. And yeah, it came out really good. Sounds amazing. I will actually post a video of this motor running to kind of go along with this video. I'm not going to fire it up right now. Disconnected my engine stand, but yeah, it sounds really good, guys. So check out that video, which I will be posting soon. You'll be able to easily find that on my channel. Let's see. So inside, kind of back to the cylinder heads, speedwell valve covers, obviously. And then inside of those are speedwell 1.25 to 1 rockers. Of course, stock rockers on these were 1 to 1, no ratio at all on those. And let's see, what else? So these carburetors, when we got them from the butcher shop, they had some really cool air cleaners with them that we detailed out. They did kind of have some stickers on them that were in pretty poor shape, so we had those reproduced. They had these screens on them, which we had chromed, and then Rafa literally made filter elements from them, from some filter material. We made a set of custom spark plug wires for it. We didn't want to use those sort of like orange ones that everyone uses. I mean, don't get me wrong, those are super nice, but again, just liking to do things a little bit different here and there, our own little touches when we can. What else? Yeah, obviously, restored, correct for this car, fuel pump, an 019 Screamer distributor. I think those are probably the major things. I'm sure I'm forgetting some things, guys, but that is mostly it. So anyway, yeah, had a few little challenges when I went to start it up. It was running very rough initially, and it was just the carburetors were pretty poorly out of sync left to right. This one, the throttle plate on it was pretty much closed, despite the fact that I did open it up some with the adjuster, but they were just way off left to right. Like this side had way more airflow, like at idle or at low throttle positions than that one. So finally, kind of investigated that and sort of eyeballed the throttle plates so they both were sort of cracked open the same left to right, and then boom, that smoothed it right out. I still need to go and balance them with an airflow meter, but it's close enough now that it idles really smooth, and so you'll hear it on that other video that I will post up as a short. Yeah, some other little details, the correct round voltage regulator here, the correct thin slot generator. Yeah, so we had to do some fabrication on here. So these carburetors, they don't have an accelerator pump in the way that a sort of regular carburetor that we think of do. So the fuel enrichment during starting is very important. And so that's what this lever here and this lever here is part of the, essentially like the choke system. Excuse me, I've just got like a cheesy wire on here now so that I could activate this while I was starting the motor. But basically, we made a custom tube here to support the cable that'll pull on this. Again, it's not going to be a piece of wire like this, but anyway, so that pulls this, and that does a couple things. One is it richens up the mixture. You can see that piston being pulled down kind of in the middle there. And then it also actually applies some throttle. You can see that throttle moving over there. Let's see. Watch this, guys. When I move this, there. So yeah, so activating the choke on this does two things. Again, one, it richens the mixture, and then the other is it does like apply some throttle. And so this rod, which Rafa and I kind of came up with, and then I machined this at home on my lathe, and then we bent it up here in the shop with clevis ends on it. This sort of transfers that choke action all the way over to this carburetor, so that when you apply the choke over here, it also is applied on the other side over there. So kind of cool. And we went with brass because it did match the brass of the Monaro intake manifold. So kind of tied it all together. And then again, we've got like copper lines here. We basically took a Wolfsburg West fuel line kit that they make for Ocrasa carburetors and modified it quite a bit to work with these carburetors. And I think those are the major things, guys. So again, got it started today, got it running really smooth, and I think I may tomorrow go ahead and do the cam break-in on it, so run it at about 2,000, a little bit more than 2,000 RPMs for about 20 minutes. May go ahead and do that tomorrow. We'll see how I'm feeling. And then I believe I'm going to put this motor on the dyno to see what it makes, and so that we can run a wideband on it and kind of dial in these SU carburetors as far as their mixture and stuff, adjustment on them like that. So yeah, we'll see, guys. Hopefully this thing will be on the dyno maybe in the next week or two before it goes into the bus. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, yeah, look out for the video of this thing running. It's like a 20 or 30 second clip, but anyway. I thought it would be fun to just kind of show a stock 36 horse. This one, of course, is missing the intake manifold and stuff right now, but just like a side-by-side comparison. This one obviously would have the manifold in the center, a little carburetor over here, a coil over here. Much more simple compared to what we got going on here. This motor just has a lot going on. Very sort of like high-tech looking in an old speed sort of way, I guess. And then just for fun, here's the 1600 dual port out of a 74 Beetle we're putting together that just looks kind of massive compared to this one. And it also looks, even though it only has a stock single carburetor, somehow it looks almost as complicated to me. There's just a lot going on these later motors compared to like an earlier 36 horse. But anyway, there you go, guys. So that's it for today, guys. I will be in tomorrow for probably about half a day or so. So look out for a video tomorrow. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.